This is the first time that the newly established master program on conflict analysis resolution is inviting an ambassador to give a speech, so this makes me very privileged again. And also I myself have worked for several years at the university, so lecturing remains my passion still. As I understood from the invitation, you expect me to speak today about the Kosovo issue, about the past and the present, actually where we come from and where we are now. And accordingly, I decided to divide my speech in two parts. I will be speaking about the history, giving a historical overview, trying to highlight the most important historical sequences. And the second, I will speak about the current major issues related to Kosovo. And of course, I will welcome very much the questions and comments. I know when I was in Bekim and we had the chance to have a diplomat giving a speech, we prepared very well to listen. So I expect, and I will welcome questions and answers, and then comments, of course. As I said, I will divide my speech in these two parts. Now it is, I don't know if I'm at this to say it or not, but it is almost unavoidable to speak about any country politically or any political issues in the Balkans and not start with history. Balkan produces more history than 20 years ago. This is a famous. I don't know who said it first, but Churchill used to mention it also when the European statemakers had to deal with the troubles in the Balkans. Kosovo is not an exemption. Actually, Kosovo, as Grandma Fingers once said, further history is ruled by other means. And of course, when you speak about the history, the first challenging task is where to start. When you speak about any issue or country in the Balkans, again, from the perspective that you want to give an historical overview, because the competing troops start at this point. This is the beginning of history, if I can say metaphorically. And Kosovo is a typical case. Serbs, for example, choose the year 28th of June 1989 as the beginning of history for Kosovo. I don't know, only time I can date this date or not. This is the date when the famous battle of Kosovo took place. The field of Kosovo, and the Serbs say that battle was the Ottoman army led by Sultan Murad and Serbian army led by Nazar, who was killed. The others, there was of course a myth. This was created centuries later, actually, in the 18th and 19th century, associated with this battle. And the self-perception of different among the civilization was created at this. In relation to this battle, this played an important role in the programs and projects years later. The Albanians do not accept this. They say, well, the 3889 is not the beginning, but the beginning is action time, because the Illyrians were there, the predecessors of Albanians were there, and there were also Slavic tribes or anybody else. Now there is, of course, this is for the historians. There are some problems with this, both these interpretations in my personal view. Let me tell you something I can say at the beginning, that I will be speaking, especially the historical part. I will be giving my personal view, not the view of my government. Maybe you hear sometimes the government saying, well, but our ambassador said in X country is not, or Y country is not our opinion. And this means that the ambassador has to make trouble for his government. So no ambassador like this. So I will be giving my personal view on historical issues, especially. And now let me go to the point. The Albanians refer to the ancient time and the Serbs to medieval times as where to start in answer to this question. This is the beginning of history for us. Of course, for historians, despite I don't know, but from our perspective, my personal perspective, there are some problems related to the both interpretations. First, there are few reliable resources for historical resources for what happened in medieval time for the action. And then the social cultural context was totally different. Above all, there was no concept of nation, for example. And so long. So it's always problematic to start speaking with such a context about this period. And it is, of course, much more not just problematic, but it is irrational to try to build political arguments today based on a particular interpretation of what happened in medieval or ancient times. This is quite not just problematic, but even irrational. And we have seen consequences of this in the former Yugoslavia. Instead of going into interpretation, into the action or the medieval period, I've chosen a more modern period, and I'll try to just highlight some important sequences in this Kosovo. The first one is, of course, 1912-1913. You must be familiar with the Balkan Wars. There were actually two Balkan Wars. Kosovo was occupied by Serbia for the first time in the course of the Balkan Wars. That was done against the people of Kosovo, of course, and that was done with harsh measures. And one of the consequences of this is the huge presence of the people of Kosovo and of some other nations around Kosovo, so the Turkish citizens who depend on from that period, from those territories. Another important date, which one needs to know when speaking about the history of Kosovo, is the 1918, the aftermath of the First World War, and the creation of the Kingdom of Serbs, Croats, and Slovenes. This is sometimes called as the first Yugoslavia. In 1929, we got the name Yugoslavia. Again, Kosovo was included in this kingdom by Serbia against the people of Kosovo, again in the same way that the very harsh and oppressive measures towards the majority of the people. In 1945, the communist Yugoslavia was created. That is known as the second Yugoslavia, actually, for those who are familiar with the Balkans. Again, Kosovo was included in this state. Here it is important to know that during the Second World War, there was an agreement in 1943 between the communists of Serbia and communists of Albania. Actually, Albanian and Serbian communists, not to mention the Albanian and Serbian because there are communists in Kosovo. So there was an agreement that said that after the war, after the liberation of the Albania and Yugoslavia from the Nazi occupation, people of Kosovo enjoyed the right to self-determination. But this agreement was broken in 1945 by the Serbian communists. And again, as I said, in 1945, Kosovo was included in the Federal Republic of Yugoslavia against the will of the people of Kosovo, and even in the violation of the agreement, which was concluded in 1943 between the communists. In 1974, Yugoslavia adopted a new constitution, which gave Kosovo a status of a federal status, although not permanent to the republic. I think I need to make an explanation here, a small explanation here. Yugoslavia was a federal state, multinational federation. It is important to highlight this multinational because there is a difference between multinational and and people who have international background knows the significance of making this difference. So Yugoslavia was a multinational federation composed of 8 federal units. Kosovo was one of those federal units, although nominally it was not called a republic. And Kosovo got this status in 1974, the Constitution of 1974. And I'm highlighting this because, again, from the legal perspective, that there is a dispute. The last legal document is the one which needs to be taken into consideration. Another important date we need to highlight when we speak about the history of Kosovo is 1989. This is the date when the Serbian President Slobodan Milosevic came to power in Serbia. I think most of you are familiar with this name. I don't need the explanation of who he was, because his name is associated strongly with the Arabs in former Yugoslavia, starting from Croatia, Bosnia, Kosovo, basically. The first thing he did when he came to power was to change the constitution of 1974. Actually, attempted to change and to abrogate the federal status of Kosovo. That was done. That was not accepted by the Kosovo's people, but that was not accepted also by the other republics, especially Slovenia and Croatia. They reacted harshly to this. And that was actually, for many analysts, especially, that was the beginning of the dissolution of former Yugoslavia. So the undecided abrogation of the federal status of Kosovo and the change of the Constitution 1974, which disturbed the national balances and political balances in the former Yugoslavia. The aftermath of that, the change was that the people of Kosovo didn't accept that, but that was imposed with very harsh measures. As a result, Albanians, which make 90% of the population of Kosovo, were totally excluded from the public life in Kosovo. For example, Professor Erad mentioned, during my speaking about my CV, that I'm a lawyer, but I started during that time, but I was prohibited as an Albanian from studying in the public university. The Albanians were excluded from the public life, organized so-called peaceful movement, and actually for those who are affiliated with the country dissolution, is one of the unique cases we, and there are several books written about the peaceful resistance in Kosovo, which meant that the measures of the Serbian state were not accepted, but the reaction was peaceful. In practical terms, it meant that the people of Kosovo organized their private institutions. For example, the school where I studied was a house, 5-floor house turned into a school, financed by voluntary contributions, but that was not recognized by the Kosova, for example. It was not recognized by the Serbian state. So we created schools, hospitals, and other social institutions as a way to react towards the Serbian oppression and the fact that the powers of federal status was abrogated. So for almost 10 years, that was the way actually started until late 1997. That was the Albanian reaction towards the fact that their federal status was abrogated and the oppressive policy which actually is out of the apartheid, the Middle of Europe, was imposed. In 1997, war started between the people of Kosovo, led by the Kosovo Liberation Army, and the Serbian state. And the Serbian state started to use the same tactics they had used in Bosnia and Croatia. The tactics of scorched earth, shelling and attacking, actually shelling the villages and attacking civilians indiscriminately. And on 24th of March 1999, they intervened to stop the unfolding genocide in Kosovo and actually to prevent the conflict from spilling over to the Balkans.